Good Morning Britain presenter Susanna Reid stepped in to defend her co-host Ed Balls after he claimed Nigel Farage could never be Prime Minister. Susanna Reid was forced to step in as Ed Balls made a bold claim about Nigel Farage. Wednesday's installment, December 4th, of Good Morning Britain saw the TV duo team up for the third time this week, discussing some of the biggest stories hitting the headlines. Susanna and Ed were joined by Nadine Dorries and Kevin Maguire, where they deliberated about Andrea Jenkyns joining the Reform Party. During the conversation, Ed claimed that Reform leader Farage will never be Prime Minister. The 57-year-old continued, "It's totally not impossible that Reform wins an election." Every time Nigel Farage has been faced with the idea of governing, of actually acting, I think he's not that kind of person. He's an outsider. The alliance of Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson together, that would be powerful. Susanna later assured viewers that Ed remains neutral, leading to a flurry of backlash from viewers. He's an outsider. The alliance of Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson together, that would be powerful. Susanna later assured viewers that Ed remains neutral, leading to a flurry of backlash from viewers. One wrote, "Yeah, Ed Balls, ex-Labour MP, married to a Labour cabinet member, is totally neutral, unbiased, of course he is." Another declared, "Ed Balls is not neutral." A third penned, Susanna quickly butting in to desperately defend Ed as neutral, followed by a laughing emoji. A further viewer shared, "Peak Ed Balls as he moves attention onto a Farage-Johnson alliance and opens up the who is leading the right debate further." Nadine for once speechless. Ed's impartiality has come into question a number of times on Good Morning Britain, most notably back in August when he interviewed his wife Yvette Cooper on the program. Yvette was on GMB to discuss whether the police's response to the nationwide riots had been sufficient. Ed and his co-host Kate Garraway questioned Yvette on the government's refusal to label the riots Islamophobic, as posed earlier in the program by Zara Sultana. However, the contents of the interview was largely ignored as viewers claimed there was a huge conflict of interest in Ed interviewing his wife. One wrote on X, "Interesting that Ed Balls doesn't interrupt his wife when interviewing, but with other guests he does every 5 minutes. #GMB #Good Morning Britain." A second agreed, "Ed Balls is going to interview his wife? How is this at GMB being impartial and not a huge conflict of interest? Embarrassing in the extreme." And he hasn't talked to the Home Secretary about her job and the situation. Really? Another fumed, "Sorry, this is insane. You can't have Ed Balls on a program, interviewing his own wife. What a stupid editorial decision. I can't believe Yvette Cooper went along with this. The outrage sparked more than 8,000 Ofcom complaints, with viewers arguing that it would be impossible for him to remain impartial due to their relationship. Despite the complaints, ITV defended their decision as a spokesperson stated, "Following a weekend of rioting and national unrest, GMB featured a range of interviews and discussion around this national emergency on today's program, which included James Cleverly, Shadow Home Secretary, and Yvette Cooper, Home Secretary. We are satisfied that these interviews were balanced, fair and duly impartial.